Hey everyone, welcome to today's practice to help you transmute darkness. So if you're feeling heavy in your body today, if your emotions are really dark, if your mind is really negative, or there could just be a situation going on in your life that's bringing you down, I want you to bring all of that with you to your mat today. We're going to move and breathe with it and transmute it. So thank you for being here. Thanks for taking this time to invest in your own well-being. I hope you love the practice and feel a little bit lighter at the end. And yeah, that's all I got. So let's get started. All right, so we are going to start in the seated position today. So feel free to grab a bolster or a thick folded blanket to slide underneath your seat just to make things a little bit more comfortable. And if cross-legged doesn't work for you, just choose some other position that will allow you to begin centering comfortably. And your hands can just come to rest wherever they land comfortably, and then feel free to let your eyes come to close. Taking these first few moments to just begin tuning into your breath today. And feel your entire body breathing in and your entire body breathing out. And feeling down into your foundation, specifically your seat. So maybe your two sits bones at the bottom of your pelvis. And just noticing this point of contact between your sits bones and whatever is beneath them. And take a nice full breath in, and as you exhale, see if you can just let yourself sink down into your seat a little bit more. Maybe your shoulders will drop as you do that, or maybe you'll just notice, other areas of tension starting to let go as you arrive, as you begin settling into your body and finding that point of contact with the floor beneath you. And then just come back to your breath and just tweak your breath a little bit. You can invite it to slow down. Maybe you can hear the sound of your breath. And then just acknowledging any darkness that you brought to your practice today. Acknowledging any heaviness, or any negativity that is here with you now that you wish to transmute. Sometimes when we're swimming through dark times, sometimes when there's just a lot of heaviness upon our shoulders, right, or a lot of negativity in our mind, we can feel really alone as we navigate the depths of all of that. So as you're just sitting here and allowing yourself to acknowledge the heaviness, the darkness, the negativity that you're wishing to transmute today, let yourself feel into the collective support that is coming to you through this video. And part of this collective support is me as your guide for this practice today, but also every other person that has tuned in to move and breathe and transmute the darkness that they're experiencing. So just welcome in that collective support. And also welcoming in your darkness today. Even if the darkness is scary to acknowledge or to feel, it seems overwhelming at times, see if you can allow it to be here with you, almost like it's sitting right next to you on your mat today. And as we move and breathe through the practice, right, this darkness, this heaviness will be transmuted. Because everything is always changing, right? That's the one constant, including yourself. You are always changing. Energy is always changing. Life experiences are always changing. And we're going to witness that change today on our mat. So I'd like you to take your hands and just rest your hands over your heart here for a moment. Maybe a little drop of your chin. And just tune into your heart. And as you tune into your heart, inviting your experience today to leave you feeling aligned so that you can be your best self. In all parts of your life and all parts of your being. Just take a nice deep breath in. Breathe it out. Let's do that once more. Just take a nice deep breath. Breathe in. And breathe out. Beautiful. And then when you're ready here, you can just let your hands release. Take your fingertips out to the side. And on your in-breath, let your arms stretch out and up. And just take a nice big reach, gaze up. Touch those palms at the top, and then as you exhale, just let your arms float all the way down. Tap your fingertips to the floor, and then repeat that. Breathe in, slowly lifting your arms all the way up. And exhale, letting your arms release all the way down. We'll do that one more time. Full breath in. Nice and slowly, maybe suspend the breath for a moment at the top, and then breathing out, let your arms release all the way down. Good, and then just pausing here, and if the eyes are still closed, just go ahead and blink open your eyes, and then we're going to shift onto our hands and knees so you can come forward. And as you come over onto your hands and knees, let's first stretch back through a child's pose. Get my hair up in my ponytail. So let your knees separate. Take your arms out in front, forehead to your mat. And just take a couple full breaths here, breathing in and out. The one constant that we can trust is that everything is constantly changing. And whatever you brought to your mat today, it will be transmuted. It will be transformed. through your practice. That I can guarantee. So as you breathe here nice and deeply into your belly, just let yourself feel whatever it is that you're feeling. Let yourself be just as you are. We are on a journey back to your essence, which is light and free and powerful and bright and excited about this life. Take 2 more breaths. Just feel that breath filling you up, breathing out completely. Good, and then when you're ready, you can lift your gaze and rise up onto your hands and knees, coming into tabletop. Spread wide through your fingers here. Tuck your toes, arch your back. Let your chest open, lift your chin. Just take a breath in. And then as you exhale, let your toes point back and just push down through the hands, push down through the tops of your feet, round out your spine, chin to your chest. Breathing in, arching your back. And exhaling, round out your spine. So really tuning in to your spine, which is your lifeline. There's powerful energy that moves through our spine. And sometimes when we feel stuck in a certain state of being or stuck in a certain situation in our life, bringing your body into motion, specifically your spine into motion, can start to help move energy in such a way that change comes gracefully and easily. Let's take about 3 more of these cat-cows. Flowing at your own pace. If your body feels heavy, if there's a lot of stickiness here, just take your time. Move slowly. It's like you're warming up cold wax, and as it warms up, it becomes more fluid. Right, things can flow and be transformed into something new, a new shape. Good, so make your way back through center, back to a tabletop position, and then we're going to roll onto the right hand. So take your right foot and kind of pivot it off of your mat here and stretch your left leg straight back behind you, and then press into your right hand and reach up with your left arm. And then let's circle out that left wrist a few times. And then reach your left arm overhead and just take a big long stretch through this left side of your body, opening the waist, the rib cage, maybe opening into that left hip. You could be gazing down, you could be gazing up, whatever feels good for you. Take 1 more breath. You could lift that left arm back up and then exhale, releasing that left hand to the mat. Come back to hands and knees, and then we'll take that to the second side. So just pivot your left toes off your mat, straighten your right leg, and roll onto that left hand. Lift your right arm up and roll out your right wrist. And then when you're ready, take a big stretch. Send that right arm overhead. Feel the whole right side of your body getting long. You could gaze up or down, maybe rolling the chest a little bit towards the sky. Just let yourself feel here, right? You might be feeling sensations in the body or emotions arising. Let yourself use this time to feel what needs to be felt. And then reach up with your right arm and come back to hands and knees again, tabletop position. Toes are tucked. We're going to lift the hips and come into our first downward facing dog. So it is true, sometimes in life, we're busy and things happen and we may not just have time to process, to feel the feelings, to process the experience. So we put it on hold and it can get a little backed up sometimes. Things can build up inside of us. So this is your practice to kind of dive in and process what needs to be processed so that you'll finish this practice feeling lighter and freer, less encumbered by heaviness. Let's take a few more deep breaths here in your down dog. You could be stretching out those legs, whatever feels good for you. One more breath, breathe in. And then breathing out, take your gaze forward and begin to walk your feet up to the front of your mat. Take a breath in here and just stretch out your spine, looking forward. And then let's take the feet out wide, drop your hips, and you're gonna come down into a yogi squat. This is one of my favorite poses. Always feels so good on my hips, but also just really grounding to hang out in this pose. So you could rock a little side to side. And if this pose is a struggle for you, maybe your heels don't come to the floor, try rolling up a blanket and slipping it under your heels. It transforms the posture and allows the body to become a little bit more grounded with those heels being supported. And then from here, so you could keep your hands at your heart, elbows pressing into your knees, or you could just let yourself round forward. Sometimes this feels good. Just let your head drop, let your back round. Maybe even rocking a little side to side so the weight shifts in your feet. Stay connected to your breath. Maybe your elbows can drop heavy towards the floor if you're in the crouching forward position. Good, and then breathing in, lift your head if you took a little forward fold there, and then we're gonna straighten out those legs and come back into our forward fold. So you're gonna heel toe those feet back in to about hip distance, and then dangle the body forward. Just let the back stretch, let your head hang heavy. And again, if things feel really sticky, just add a little movement. You can think of your yoga mat as sacred space. So when you step onto your mat, all of you gets to show up, the good, the bad, and the ugly, without judgment, but with deep reverence, acceptance, and compassion. And through that acceptance, we discover integration. Parts of us get to be integrated that were previously rejected. So let's breathe out here. Just let go, let your body hang heavy, and then soften your knees and just roll up through your spine. So easy does it. Let yourself just roll up. Go easy if your back is stiff today. Shrug the shoulders back at the top. Just let your arms release down alongside your body. Good. And then we're going to reverse that roll. So you're just going to drop your chin to your chest, soften your knees, roll yourself all the way back down. And then inhale, lengthen. And as you exhale, step your left foot back behind. Tap your left knee down onto your mat and walk your hands, if you'd like, up to your front thigh here. And just breathe. And we're going to try a little side stretch here. So if you happen to have a block, this might be really useful to place the block along the right side of your mat. And your right fingertips are going to come down to that block or to the floor. You can lean over. And then left arm is going to reach up and exhale, side bend to the right. So do the best you can with this. Again, a block can be really helpful underneath your right hand. And then you could rotate your gaze up or look forward or look down past your right shoulder. Keep pressing those hips forward and make sure your right heel is actively grounding down. Reaching your left fingers up out of that left hip. Take one more breath. Good. And then slowly come back through center. And you can take your fingertips down to the floor. Tuck your left toes if they're not already and lift the knee. And then let's lift the right arm for a moment and twist through the spine. Good, nice big breath here. Maybe rolling the chest open a little towards the sky, keeping that left leg straight. And then breathing out, releasing. Right hand comes down. And we're going to step back into our downward facing dog. If you need a break, you can drop your knees into child's for a moment. Otherwise, maybe pedal out your heels a little bit and just reset your hips. Good. Take one more deep breath here. Exhale it out. And then breathe and come to plank pose, upward push-up. Tap your knees down if you need to. Get really strong in the legs, if the legs are straight. And then shift a little forward and begin to squeeze your hands towards each other. See if you can soften your heart a little bit, gazing forward as you bend your elbows and come down to your belly. And then from your belly, just take a breath into cobra, rolling up. Nice, easy back bend. Just breathe. Let those legs stretch straight. Tops of the feet lightly pressing the floor. And then just walk your hands back a little bit. And if you'd like, you can push into your hands and curl yourself up through an upward facing dog. So elbows might be a little bit bent here. As you draw those upper arm bones back. And when you're ready, let's shift and meet in downward facing dog. Full breath in. Full breath out, letting go. Trusting as you move and breathe your body and you feel, right? You're facilitating transformation inside of you. Resetting your energy by bringing flow to stagnation and maybe even clearing out some old energy that's been stuck. Let's walk the feet again forward to the front of the mat. Take a breath in, lengthen. And exhale, fold. Good, let's inhale, lengthen again, and let's take those feet out wide. So come down into your squat one more time. Yogi squat. Hands can again come to your heart. Feel as though your tailbone has an anchor attached to it, and that anchor is dropped down into the earth, and it's gently tugging on your tailbone, just helping pull the energy downward a little bit, and then draw up through the very base of your skull, just a little bit, feeling that length in your back. If you'd like, again, drop your head, crouch forward, let your elbows be heavy. Take 2 more breaths, maybe shifting your weight a little side to side. And then inhaling, lift your gaze, lift your chest, and then exhale, straighten back out those legs. Walk your feet back in so they're about hip distance apart. And again, just let yourself hang forward here. You can kind of shake things out. Maybe the knees are a little bit soft. Breathing out through an open mouth at any time, especially when you feel like you're coming into an area of tension, right? You might breathe into that tightness and then just sigh it out. Let your knees soften, roll up through your spine. And again, when you get to the top this time, you're just going to let those shoulders shrug up, back and down. Standing nice and tall. Inhale. Exhale, drop the chin to the chest. Begin to let your head be heavy as you roll through your spine. Bend your knees, let your arms hang and dangle. You're doing this kind of slowly with purpose, right? We're unwinding the spine. Good. As you come all the way down and forward, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step your right leg back and tap your right knee down. Lean into those hips and walk your hands up to your front thigh. Just kind of lean into those hips a little bit more. If they're really tight, maybe you rock forward and back a little bit. Roll the shoulders down your back. Good, and then we're going to be working into that side bend. So this time your left fingertips are going to come to the side here. And think about, again, if you need a block or maybe you have a water bottle, something you can rest your hand on, or the floor. And then we're going to sweep the right arm up and side bend over to the left. Just opening up this whole right side from the hip out through those right fingertips. Play around. Do you want to look down, forward, or up? Can you keep drawing your hips forward? Make sure you're still grounded through the left heel. Take one more expansive breath through the right waist, the right ribs and shoulder. And then as you exhale, lift through center. Let your fingertips come down to your mat. Tuck your right toes, lift up your right knee. And then ground into your right hand and stretch your left arm up for a twist. Maybe the chest rolls open a little bit. Just let this feel good. One more breath. And then breathe out, release. And step yourself back into downward facing dog. And again, you might just pedal out your heels a little bit. Reset those hips. And from down dog, take a breath and come forward into your plank. And as you exhale, lower down to your belly. Cobra. So a little back bend, breathing in. Give those shoulders a little shrug. And you might stay as you are, or again, inch the hands back. Press into the palms. Straighten out your elbows. Find an upward facing dog. And from there, meeting in downward facing dog, taking those hips back. Full breath in, full breath out. Do one more breath here. Really amplify your breath. Whole body breathing in and expanding. And entire body breathing out and relaxing. Beautiful. And then go ahead and just drop your knees down to your mat. Let's take a child's pose once more. Just release those hips back, forehead to your mat. Let yourself breathe here. One more deep breath in. And sigh it out. Good, and then when you're ready, you're gonna rise up, coming onto your hands and knees, and let's come to sit again on our mats. So you can bring, might be helpful, again, to use your prop that you used at the beginning of class to sit down on it. And we're just gonna do a few more stretches here before we wrap up our practice today. So again, you can sit cross-legged if that works for you. Make sure you're comfortable. If you need to sit on your knees instead, you could do that. And we're going to work a little bit with the shoulders and the upper body. So sometimes heaviness can be felt anywhere in the body. Sometimes it's felt like in the legs, right? Sometimes we feel, negative, heavy energy just in our field, our energetic field around us. Sometimes it's in the heart. Sometimes it's in the mind, right? It can be anywhere inside of us. And sometimes we project it out and it's on a situation or it's projected onto a person, right? And that causes us some strife and some heaviness. So we're gonna move our body, our spine in such a way that we're just kind of, again, facilitating places that have been a little stuck, places that have been a little stagnant or heavy. We're just helping them start moving, similar to the cat-cow that we did in the beginning. So, but we're going to be adding the arms here. So I want you to take your arms out in line, kind of with your shoulders here, cactus the arms. Pull the arms back so you get a little squeeze between your shoulder blades, and you can even pull your elbows slightly down so you're feeling a really nice little squeeze at the back of your heart, and then lift your chin. And you're arching your whole spine here. Let it feel good, right? Don't take it beyond what your body's capable of in this moment. And then on your exhalation, you're gonna round out your spine, gather those arms together at the front, maybe touching your forearms if you can. So this will be our exhalation, rounding, and then inhaling, opening, expanding, energy, exhaling, round. About 3 or 4 more of these. Flow with your breath. Squeeze the belly a little bit when you round forward. So we're giving a little compression to places that oftentimes energy can stagnate, which is through the organs of the body. Take your last breath in as you open. And then as you exhale, just let yourself soften through center and let your palms, your hands come down to your thighs. Just take a breath in and out. Awesome. Now we're going to do another flow that works specifically through the spine and the center line of the body. So for this one, I'm going to come off my boost just because I want a little bit more fluidity in my hips. You can try that or stay seated upright up on your boost if that helps. And I'm going to turn to the side just to give you a different viewpoint on this one. So your ankles are going to be crossed. You can grab your shin bones. And we're going to be doing, again, kind of like a little bit of a snake, like slithering movement, or attempting that at least, with our spine. So as you inhale, you're going to create that same arching of your back, right? But without the arms this time. You can just pull on your knees and your shin bones, give a little squeeze, and then you're going to lead with your heart. So somebody's pulling, tugging a little string tied to your sternum. Reach it forward. See how my chin is still lifted? And then after I can't go any further forward, I'm going to begin to let my head release. And then I'm going to pull my navel to the spine and round out my back, and then slowly roll up through my spine, lifting my gaze, opening my heart, and again, pulling the heart forward. Drop the head, round, roll up. Couple more like that. See if you can come into a flow state, right, where you get a little bit lost in the movement, your attention, your breath, your body are all synced up. Take one more round. And as you roll up, this time, just pause at the top. Breathe in, breathe out. Good. Our spine is pretty magical. Beautiful to give it a little attention every day. All right, so one more exercise here, and this one's going to bring some energy into our core area. So we're going to be doing a little empowering work for the belly. And like I mentioned, sometimes stagnant energy, heavy energy can get locked into our organs, so along the front of the body. So by doing some compressive work, right, and fluid work, we start to just mobilize that so it doesn't stay stuck. When it's stuck, right, we start to feel stuck. We start to feel kind of heavy. So okay, so for this one, bring your feet out. So we're going to be working with boat pose, Navasana, and we're going to go up and down. So just join in as you can, whatever works for your body. So you're going to start with first your feet on the floor, lift your heart. You can release your arms out in front of you, and you might just hold here statically and do little releasing back and pulling up, right? So that would be one option. Make sure you've got some space behind you. If you can go a little bit deeper, lift your feet, take a breath in, and then as you exhale, you're going to roll down through your spine. This is called Ardha Navasana, or canoe pose. And then we lift up and roll down and up and down. So we'll exhale down, inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, exhale down, inhale up. Remember, you could be up here at the top and you could just exhale down a little bit. Inhale up. Let's do 3 more. Exhale down. Inhale, squeeze. Down. Inhale, squeeze. Last one. Exhale. Inhale. Good. And then exhale. Release your feet. Maybe just cross your ankles for a moment. Take your fingertips back behind you and lift your chest. Exhaling through the mouth for a little extra release. All right, nice job. So let's come down onto our backs next, and then we'll take one last little stretch here, and then we'll be moving into our Savasana. So start off just lying flat on your back for a moment. And just feel your body sinking down into the floor. Maybe doing a little check-in, just noticing that darkness, that heaviness, that negativity, that you've been consciously working with today during your practice. Check in with it. How is it doing? Has it shifted or changed? Does it feel lighter? Do you feel less reactive towards it? Take one more deep breath. Let your belly expand. Breathe it out. We're going to come into what is often called banana pose. This is a yin-like yoga posture, and it's a side bend that we do on our backs. So you're going to walk your feet over to the right. So you kind of just wiggle your feet over to the right. Your hips could go a little bit towards the left, feet to the right. And if you're able to, you're going to try to cross your left foot on top of your right foot. So that's the lower body position. And you might have to keep the feet a little active to kind of keep the legs in this position. And then your shoulders wiggle a little bit over to the right as well. And you can feel that you're starting to open up this whole left side of the body, coming into a side bend. And if possible, if it feels okay in your shoulders, you're going to take your arms overhead and you could just grab opposite elbows with your hands. And again, you're kind of wiggling those shoulders as far over to the right as possible. You don't want to feel too much strain here or stress, because you want to be able to relax. Once you're in the position, maybe close the eyes. And even though you're having to hold on in a couple areas, see how much you can let go in all the other areas. We'll take about 8 breaths here. Maybe you can soften your face a little bit. Maybe you can let go through that left shoulder a little bit. Maybe you can rest your forehead and the space between your eyebrows. Let that become soft. Feel the whole body breathe in, and as you exhale, relax even more. Really let go into your mat, into the floor. And then we're going to slowly release and shift ourselves over to the opposite side. So you can let your arms release and just kind of wiggle those shoulders back, and then bring the hips and the legs through center. And in between sides, see what feels good. If you want to hug the knees into the chest, rock a little side to side. If anything needs to happen just to re-center, reset your body, do that. And then when you're ready for the second side, you're gonna, again, maybe your hips shift a little bit to the right, and then your feet come over towards the left side of your mat. You're gonna take your right foot, place it on top of your left ankle, kind of hook the feet, and then wiggle your shoulders over to the left as well. Stretch your arms overhead and grab the opposite elbows. And then breathe. So it is 100% normal to attempt to push away darkness, heaviness, negativity, anything that makes us feel uncomfortable. It's very common. We all do this. We push away the things that cause us suffering. But what actually can end our suffering is by embracing those very things, by allowing the darkness, acknowledging it, accepting it. And through doing that, it becomes transmuted, it changes, it becomes integrated. So again, just as you're resting here for these last few breaths, inviting your body to melt whatever darkness that is here with you right now. How can you embrace it? How can you accept it? How might you even love this energy? Knowing that by doing so, change is coming. Transformation is occurring. So take another deep breath in, letting your whole body fill up with that breath, and then melt and release with your exhale. And then release your arms. Wiggle your body back through center. See what needs to happen here. Maybe you want to rock your legs from side to side, windshield wiper those legs. Maybe you want to hug your knees to your chest. Reset. And then it's time to prepare for our Savasana. So come through center. Draw your knees to your chest. Squeeze those thighs and giving yourself a little hug. Breathe in and out. And then see if there's anything else maybe that you want to include in your practice today. Maybe you want to take another twist here. Maybe there's an inversion that you'd like to wrap up your practice with. If there's something that's coming to you, feel free to take time for that. You could press pause if you'd like on the video. Do your own little practice. And if you're ready, or when you're ready for Shavasana, go ahead and just let your body stretch out nice and long on your mat. If you have a bolster or maybe a heavy folded blanket, you could rest it over your body to help ground your nervous system. Then maybe the arms come out alongside your body, palms up, or choose a different position that feels really good for you. Let your eyes come to close. And we're going to take a few clearing breaths here. So really simple. As you breathe in, you're going to imagine you're drawing up any negative energy from the tips of your toes, drawing it all the way up, 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 from the tips of your fingers, up, 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 to the tip of your nose, and then you're going to exhale, breathing out that negative energy, that heaviness. So just try that 2 more times. Just inhale, imagine yourself just sweeping up any old, negative, heavy, dark energy that's ready to release, and then you just breathe it out. Letting it go. Do that 1 more time, maybe even lifting energy up out of your auric field, right? The space around your body. When you breathe it out, let that energy turn into compost. Let that energy turn into something valuable like gold. Right? Maybe it's transmuting into light. And there may be space now here inside of you to fill up with positive energy. So just imagining a big ball of golden light. Maybe it's like the sun shining brightly above you. And let the light emanating off of the sun radiate down upon you, recalibrating your body, mind, and spirit, and invoking a state of alignment and balance within, and positivity, hope, courage, empowerment, knowing, creativity, authenticity. Just letting all these positive vibrations fill you up. And maybe you want to linger in this relaxed state, drinking in this positive energy. Or maybe you're ready to carry on with the rest of your day. And if so, give a little wiggle to your fingers and toes. Circle out your ankles and wrist. Stretch your arms overhead. Reach through the toes and the fingers. And then roll yourself over onto your side and ease yourself up to take a seat on your mat. Coming to close your practice the same way that you started today. So sitting comfortably, maybe closing your eyes. And if you'd like, draw your hands once again to your heart. Breathe into your heart. Align with your heart. Your heart holds your soul's truth. Your heart knows the most authentic and highest expression of who you really are. So plug into that and choose to be connected here to your very own heart. All of the wisdom it holds. Take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Thanks for being here today. I hope you feel a little bit lighter, or at least in more acceptance with who you are today, with the energy that you're experiencing today, whether you find it positive or negative feeling. I'm sending you just a big hug, virtual hug to wherever you are. Thanks for being here.